Actually, when we were introduced together, we didn't get back in the limo. We actually went in and had a few drinks. We were talking, it was pretty much small talk. My very first impression was, like I had explained to Kevin, and I've said this before, I had a friend in Miami who was a hustler. And when I say hustler, I'm referring to someone who has the looks, who knows how to, turn on the charm for the purpose of having someone else pick up their bill and allow them to party and play on their dime.
He's been doing that to us since he got elected.
I guess that's true too. But to me, he was the, poster child for a street hustler, and I mean a street hustler in the sense to where he knew how to be connected and hooked up with people and introduced to people. It wasn't, a two-bit prostitute that's walking the street corner. So it was a whole bunch of small talk in the bar. He had made, a reference that he was in public service, which to me was, I really didn't care. I'm sitting down having drinks with someone, and I'm really not concerned about discussing whether or not they're in law enforcement or whatever, especially considering the fact that I'm making a ton of money moving narcotics from Colorado to the East Coast on a regular basis. So I had made a comment that I could use a line to wake up. He immediately asked me if I was referring to coke, and I said yes, and he said that he could hook me up. He made a phone call. 5 minutes later, we're leaving the bar, getting the limo. I had given him $250 in which to purchase an 8-ball of coke. We drive for approximately 30 to 45 minutes. It's dark. I'm not paying attention to where we're going. I'm in a limo. We stop. He gets out. He says he'll be back. Approximately 5-10 minutes later, he comes back and gets back in the limo, and he hands me an 8-ball of coke. I start to prepare a line on a CD tray from a CD that I had in the back of the limo that I had brought with me at the time. And things moved on from there.
No, Larry, I know it's not really a time to be modest, so things moved on from there.
Well, I'm not trying to be modest. I'm letting you direct this.
Pretend you're in court.
I don't want to be.
That's what you need to do. Pretend you're in court, and if a judge asked you what happened next, be specific, just not pornographic, but you can tell us with medical terms what happened.
Remember, Larry, too, that the Herman Cain accusers that have been put forward by Politico and by Gloria Allred and all this, they're describing things that, Sharon Bialik, she used the word genitals. She said she's accused Herman Cain of touching her genitals. So, there's definitely a way that you can say what happened next that could be in a way that is similar to the way that Gloria Allred put forward that Cain accuser.
I want to give you a minute to think about that. We're going to go to a break because we're at the bottom of this hour right now. When we come back, we're going to get right to exactly what happened in the limo with Barack Obama, the sitting senator in Illinois at the time. We are talking to Larry Sinclair on HillBuzz, and this is Fox, and we will be back momentarily, so stay tuned for more on the HillBuzz and Mrs. Fox show.
This evening we're speaking to Larry Sinclair, who has been a victim of a nonstop media campaign against him since coming forward in 2008 with allegations of a night spent with Barack Obama in the back of a limousine doing drugs and other things he'll tell us about in just a second. But I want to reiterate the reason that we're doing this and the reason that we're speaking to Larry Sinclair and that we're putting the story out there is because in recent weeks, Ben Smith and others at Politico.com, the website, they decided that new standard in journalism is that rumors and innuendo and other things are going to be reported as fact from now on, because this is a standard that was used against Herman Cain, and this is a standard that was used to put forward people like Sharon Bialik and these other anonymous accusers that have come forward to say that Herman Cain made them feel uncomfortable and Herman Cain did this or that, when in the past people like Ben Smith at Politico have said that they refused to report on Larry Sinclair and what Barack Obama did with him before he became a big political star in the Democrat Party. So our question here at the HillBuzz and Mrs. Fox Show is, why are there two standards for this kind of a thing? Why are people who accuse Democrats of anything treated like villains and the Alinsky machine is used to destroy them, whereas people who accuse a Republican of anything are treated as heroes and given 15 minutes of fame and paraded around by people like Gloria Allred or whatever and have a nice time out in the sun? So we were just talking before the break with Larry Sinclair about exactly what happened between him and Barack Obama in that limousine. And, Larry, I want to ask you to, try to do it as nicely as possible for people who are listening out there, so we're not going to be vulgar about this. But if you can give us an idea of exactly what happened in that limo.
Well, I guess I can do what Gloria Allred did, only I can take back my descriptions that she seems to have used to write Sharon Bialik's.
And Larry, it's kind of like saying, like, show us where the bad man touched you, or where you touched the bad man.
Well, actually, it wasn't so much the bad man touching me at first. Like I had said before the break, I had prepared a line to do a line off the CD tray. I had actually rested the tray on his knee, and I began to rub up against his thigh with my hand up towards his crotch area. There was no resistance.
At that point, no resistance. Did he say anything to you? Was there any conversation?
No, actually, there was no resistance. There was no, and look, I don't know if Kevin will vouch for this or not, but I think most gay men understand that you can pretty much sense what you can or cannot get away with an individual. I definitely did not feel that I would be violating his privacy or his space, and I'm a firm believer that if I was doing anything that he himself did not want done, he would have stopped the hand long before it had gotten to where it went.
I want to jump in here for just 1 second to vouch for that, that for those of you listening who are straight, the rules in the gay community for a lot of things are a little bit different than maybe what you're used to. And when things happen between guys are a lot more forward and a lot more grabby, especially women listening, women who are used to going to women listening, if you're used to going to a bar, a guy wouldn't come up and as Gloria Allred and Sharon Bialik were saying, they wouldn't come and just grab your genitals. Like, that's not normal from what I've seen from straight men trying to get with a woman, but it's totally normal for a gay guy. If you're just out in a bar and if some guy likes you, they'll just start pawing you, and it's really a second nature kind of a thing. And if you don't like it, Larry's correct that usually you can just give a visual signal, with your eyes that you're not interested, or you just take the person's hand away, and usually the person would just kind of slink off then. So what I think would happen if Obama was not into what Larry Sinclair was doing to him, that he would have moved his hand and maybe asked the limo to pull over to the side so he can get out and go on his way and not want anything to do with that. That's typically what I've seen in terms of this kind of a thing happening before.
Okay, so continue, Larry. What happened after that?
Well, I basically began massaging some genitals. And the interesting part is Barack Obama was the person who actually unbuckled his pants on his own. It's not like I just went in and acted like an animal and tried to see if his trousers were those, snap-offs or anything. But
and Larry, I think the million question that everybody wants to know is, was there a distinguishing feature or mole or possibly, a leaning problem that we don't know about?
There's actually, it's in the book, believe it or not. There's a very detailed physical description. There are 3 non-pimplish type bumps that don't come and go over a period of time that are actually underneath the bottom side of the shaft. And when I say the bottom side, I mean the side facing towards the floor.
Okay.
I just want to say once again, the reason that this is now news and the reason that we're having a conversation about Barack Obama unbuckling his pants and removing the now presidential penis for full view of you in that limousine is because Politico.com and all of those quote-unquote journalists over there, and Gloria Allred and all these other types, they made this news, and they made this acceptable now because they have been reporting rumor and innuendo and other tales, sordid tales, against Herman Cain without any proof or even bothering to find out the names of the people who said this or that. So I think this is completely appropriate now in this new age of journalism. So, with that said, continue describing the presidential penis.
Well, actually, from that point, it wasn't so much describing it as much as it was starting to go down on it.
So was it big? Was it small?
I tell people ask me, and I say, to me, it's more like a black man with the white boy's wee-wee. But other people have said that they don't believe the description in the book constitutes the average white penis. I'm telling them that's just my impression.
We have secondhand accounts of this, though. We have other people who've seen the presidential penis before it was the presidential penis in the showers at the East Bank Club, and their reports say it was an average penis also.